Dear students, this is the session 5. In this video, we are going to discuss on the masonry. The syllabus is like this: definition and terms used in masonry, brick masonry, characteristic and requirements of good brick masonry, bonds in brickwork, header, structure, English and Flemish bond. So let us start from the introduction. The term masonry is used to indicate the art of building structures in either stones or bricks. It may be divided as the construction of building units bonded together with the mortar. So the masonry is used for the construction of foundations, walls, columns and other similar components of a structure. So there are various applications of this masonry. Okay, different elements we can construct by using stone or bricks. So depending upon the type of the material used, masonry can be broadly classified as like this. One is stone masonry, second is brick masonry, third is reinforced brick masonry, fourth is hollow concrete block masonry, fifth is composite masonry. So in that first two are majorly used and we are going to discuss in this video. So what are the terminologies used in this masonry? Masonry work. The following are some of the technical terms used in masonry work. Since these terms frequently used in the description and procedures, it is essential to understand the meaning of these terms. So some of the common terminologies are discussed here. So it should be applicable to both brick as well as the stone masonry. So header, it is a full brick or stone which is laid with its length perpendicular to the face of the wall. In stone masonry, header is sometimes called as a through stone. So you can see here header. Yes. So in the masonry, it looks like this. Next is structure. So it is a full brick or stone which is laid with its length parallel to the face of the wall. So you can see this. So length is parallel to the face of the wall. So here it is different. So header, you can see the headers here. Next, bond. It's a term applied to the overlapping of bricks or stones in a wall in alternate courses to bind the whole wall together. So bonding is essential to eliminate continuous vertical joints both in the body as well as in the face of the wall. So sometimes the thickness is more. The bond should be there in between those bricks actually. So that is called, sometimes the joints are in the body as well as in the face of the wall. Next, course. A continuous horizontal layer of similar bricks or stones that are bonded with a mortar in a masonry structure and is 1 unit high. So this is one course. You can see here one course here. So all are similar type of bricks here. The height is same, unit height it's called. It's called one course. Next, header course. So it is a course of brickwork entirely composed of headers. All the bricks are in headers. Structure course means it is a course brickwork in which all the bricks are laid as structures. Next is bed. It is the term used to indicate the lower surface of the bricks or stones in each course. It may also be termed as the surface of the bricks on which it is rests. Next, face. The surface of the wall exposed to the weather is termed as a face, which you can see from the outside. Face. Next, joint. The junction of two or more bricks or stones is called joint. Joint may be cement mortar or lime mortar. Frog. It is a depression on the top face of the brick. Frog provides a recess for the mortar which on Setting forms a key and prevents the displacement of the brick above. So here you can see the frog. Next is coin. The exterior angle or corner of the wall is termed as coin. The brick or wedge-shaped stone is used for the corner of the walls is also known as coin. So that you can see in the coming pictures. I'll show you there. The plinth next. The horizontal projecting or flush course of the stone or brick provided at the base of the wall above the ground level is known as plinth. So this is above the foundation just before the superstructure starts. It's called plinth. Generally it is above the ground level. Height will be around 45 centimeters. Width also 45 centimeters. For the low cost houses you can also reduce to 30 centimeters. The wall will be around 23 centimeters. So above the foundation, just below the wall starts. That surface is called plinth, or that masonry work is called plinth. Next, sill. It is a horizontal member of the brick or stone, concrete or wood provided to give the support of the vertical members of the window. So it is a surface actually, horizontal member. It's a horizontal member of a brick or stone or concrete or wood provided to give the support of the vertical members of the uh, window. Next is lintel. Horizontal member of a stone or brick or wood or steel or RCC used to support the masonry or load above the opening. So you might have seen in the RCC the lintels, but you can also construct um, using brick also. Next, parapet. It is a term applied to the low wall built around the top roof to act as a protective solid balustrades for the user of the terrace. Next, we'll discuss on the characteristics and requirements of the good brick masonry. So before that, there are some more terminologies are available in books. You can refer, you can go through it. There are around 40 plus. Here only the important terminologies I discussed. Yeah. So we'll start discussing the characteristics and requirement of the good brick masonry. The bricks to be used should fulfill all the requirements of the specification of the work. The brick should be sound, hard, burnt well with uniform color, shape and size. The brick should be immersed in fresh water at least for 2 hours before using in a masonry. So do not use broken bricks unless they are essential for making a good bonds. So making good bonds you have to cut into required size actually. Okay, otherwise you should not use broken bricks. So these are the requirements of the good brick masonry. Okay, there are some more. So the bricks should be laid in their proper bond. The prog of the brick should be kept upward. Brick batch should be avoided. It's a small piece. So the thickness of the joint should not exceed 13 mm. The masonry wall should be always truly vertical and verticality should be checked continuously using a plumb bob. So the brickwork should be raised uniformly. Any part of the masonry should not be raised more than 90 centimeters to the rest of the masonry work. That is, the rising of the wall should be keep as uniform, but in some places, some parts you can rise, but should not be more than 90 centimeters at one point, because the leveling will change actually. So that's why. The work should be racked back in successive course if it is to be constructed later. The masonry work in the masonry work, large voids should not be filled with mortar only. It is uneconomical actually. So in that you can use sometime lean concrete or broken pieces of bricks itself. Okay. Cement mortar should be used enclose all the iron fixtures of doors and windows. Otherwise, it will not fix properly. After some years, it will just come out or there will be a crash. Okay. To achieve easy and adequate bond for plastering and pointing, the facing mortar joint should be racked for a depth of 13 to 19 mm when the mortar in the joint is green. So green means when it is fresh. So to achieve the easy and adequate band for plastering and pointing work, the facing mortar joint that which you can see should be racked for the depth of 13 to 19 mm, 1.3 centimeters to 1.9 centimeters when the mortar in the joint is green. You have to keep like that so that it is easy for doing the plastering or pointing work. The finished brick masonry should be cured for at least 7 days. So any brick masonry wall should not be constructed more than 1.5 meters in a day. So the brick masonry piers, buttresses, counterforts, etc. should be constructed along with the main walls, maintaining a proper bond between them. Because these are all the main important. So along with the main wall, the other shapes called like buttresses, counterforts, etc. should be constructed along with the main wall because they start in between actually. So that's why. So suitable scaffolding should be used to carry out masonry work at higher levels. The scaffolding should be made by giving one end of the horizontal bullies into the new masonry work and secured it properly. So that is important. So what are the different types of the bricks used for masonry? Bricks used in the masonry are mainly two types. Traditional bricks. These bricks, those who are not standard in size. The dimensions of the traditional bricks vary from 20 to 25 centimeters in length, 30 to 30 centimeters in width and 5 to 7.6 centimeters in thickness or height. The commonly adopted size of the traditional brick is 23 by 11.4 by 7.6 centimeters. The average weight of the brick will be about 3 to 3.5 kg. If you are using traditional bricks, these are the properties. Next is a modular brick. If the bricks are large, it is difficult to burn them properly and they become too heavy to be placed in the single hand. So on the other hand, if the bricks are small, more quantity of mortar is required. Hence, BIS has, Bureau of Indian Standards has recommended the bricks of uniform size. Such bricks are known as modular bricks. So nominal size of the bricks are 20 centimeters by 10 centimeters by 10 centimeters. So these are the two different types of the bricks available to make the masonry. So other than this, some local also different types of the bricks are available. They also generally keep the standard size, but there will be a small change will be there actually. So then to make the join, you need a mortar. How will you join the bricks? That is with the help of mortar. So mortar acts as a cementing material and unites the individual brick units together to act as a homogeneous mass. So mortar is a homogeneous mixture produced by uniform mixing of binder with sand and water to make a paste of required consistency. So these are the different types of the mortar used for the masonry work. One is mud mortar, second is cement mortar, third is lime mortar, fourth is caged mortar. So in that most popular is cement mortar and of course lime mortar also. A bond is an arrangement of layers of stones or bricks by which no continuous vertical joints are formed. So it is arrangement of layers of stones or bricks by which no continuous vertical joints are formed. That's called bonds actually. From one course to the another course, there should not be a continuous vertical joints. If it is there, then it will become a weak joint. So bonds in the interlacement of bricks formed when they lay those immediately below or above them. Bonds of various types of distinguished by their elevation or face appearance. It is essential to eliminate continuous vertical joints in the face of the wall. The bonds distribute the load coming on the structure evenly and prevents the formation of the vertical crack. So the walls having continuous vertical joint does not act as a homogeneous mass to distribute the superimposed load. So that's why it should be avoided, continuous vertical joints. So this is regarding the different types of the bricks and the bonds. Okay.